Hello, my magnificent ones. It's Tea with Sue once again. When you hear this Friday morning, I will already be in California. So I'm pre-recording this on Tuesday night because I didn't want to miss a week. This is episode 30. I'm Sue Paulson, your Magnificence Mentor. And this 20 minutes or so is time to sit, relax, have a cup of tea or your favorite beverage, whatever you like. Lots of people are having iced drinks these days because it's been so hot. Well, after all, come the winter, we'll be back to our favorite hot chocolate, right? Okay, I confess I'm not too sure what I'm going to talk about today. It's been a rough week. Some of you already know that I was called to California because my sister, younger sister, who she's had a journey with cancer that's soon coming to an end. And I'm as sad as I can be about that because she's only 49 and I know she had more dreams, hopes, and goals to go. And so it's tough for our family right now, and I found myself this last week just going through a variety of the whole plethora of emotions that there are, everything from sadness to anger to all of the stages of grief that I guess a person can go through kind of in advance. And I found myself feeling very raw and very vulnerable. Have you ever felt like that? Has life come along and just whacked you right between the eyes, the old 2x4 experience that just sent you reeling for a period of time? Well, it's not a nice feeling. And for a little while, we're at a loss as to what to do about it. We feel helpless, and sometimes the situation just feels hopeless. So I'm no stranger to adversity and tragedy in my life. And I guess I thought that I would be able to deal better. But I think the challenge was in the past, I dealt with the trauma and the tragedies by just shutting down. I just denied that there was anything really wrong. And I because I didn't know how to feel my feelings. I wasn't even in touch with them. Well, I've done lots of work over the years, and I find, much to my dismay now, I'm really in touch with my feelings. And my feelings are so connected to my body that if I try to stuff, suppress, deny, or push away feelings, my body instantly says, oh, no, you don't. No, 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 we're not storing your issues in your tissues. We are going to deal with this. You're going to feel this so you can heal. My good buddy Dan King told me this yesterday on the phone when I needed a willing ear. And he said, Sue, you got to deal, you got to feel, and then you can heal. And I'm going, oh, I needed to hear that. So thanks, Dan. Well, life gets pretty mucky and bizarre sometimes, and we find ourselves caught in betwixt and between. The barometer for me certainly is my body. I never used to think of my body as a communication device, but it really is. It will signal that all is not well really fast. The trick is to pay attention to that. So last week when I was helping a dear friend, my back started to twinge, and I knew that there was something going on. It wasn't a physical thing. And so this week, as I didn't know about the impending challenge of my sister at the time, but it was like I had my grandmother's ability, the premonitions that she used to have. She'd get blue for a few days and she couldn't pinpoint it because she's usually a very happy person, always singing and whistling and so on. And she'd say, I don't know what's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. And then the phone would ring and somebody had died or there was an accident or something like that. So she knew ahead of time what had transpired. She didn't know consciously, but something told her that all is not well in her world. So I guess I sensed some of that last week and it sent me sort of spinning. And then as a family, we've had to come face to face. How are we going to deal with all of this? Then I booked my flight, and so I'm on a plane tomorrow, which is Wednesday, which is why I'm recording this ahead of time for you. So I I've had just, oh my goodness, countless thoughts about this, spinning around about how do we come to terms with cherished people and cherished things in our lives, cherished situations that implode, explode, or just plain go away. Because as human beings, we're left to deal with all of that. And sometimes it feels as if we don't have very many coping mechanisms, that we don't know how to deal with all of that. Now, let's face it, we get very attached to things and early, young. So for example, when we took our son to Hawaii when he was about a year and a half, I guess. I think under 2 they fly for free. So that was good for our budget. So we took him to Hawaii in February for a week. He had never experienced the beach, so he didn't know what sand was. And at first, when his little toes kind of dug into the sand, he's kind of repelled and like, ooh, what is this stuff? But then as he got used to it, and then his dad showed him, we had some kind of a container and a little shovel or something for him to dig in the sand and make a sand castle or whatever. Well, then he's all in. He just, wow, sand, look what you can do with sand. And so he got attached to sand right away. Well, it didn't take very long before he was so attached that one day we had to, he was just, his little body was blue because he'd spent all day at the beach and it was getting chilly. And we had to drag him kicking and screaming off the beach, like, don't make me leave the beach. I love it here. And he didn't want to go. So we get attached. And particularly if we really like something. I mean, I was attached to soft ice cream when I was growing up. And then my grandmother bought a dairy bar. And one of the big things they served was soft ice cream. Well, I thought I died and gone to heaven, let me tell you. And my grandmother was a very wise woman, Grammy Ed. She knew how to deal with kids who absolutely loved soft ice cream. And so when I'd go over to help her, and I was 12 or something like that, and she's showing me the ropes of how to wait on customers and so on. And the words out of her mouth were just music to my ears. She said, Susan, you can have as much soft ice cream as you want. And I'm going, what? Really? This isn't a joke. You're not fooling me. You're not pulling my leg. Nope. You can, whenever you want. If you want a soft ice cream cone, you can have as much as you want. Well, of course, she knew that eventually I would get tired of soft ice cream. And sure enough, before the end of the summer, I could serve up those soft ice cream cones and dip them in the chocolate and hand them to the customers. Didn't have a whisper of a desire for that soft ice cream. So that tempered my lust for soft ice cream. But I was really attached, and I haven't totally given up on that attachment. Going to a dairy bar for soft ice cream is still one of my great pleasures in life. So I hope when I, transition to spirit form, there's something like that, because wow, I hate to give it up entirely. So we get attached. And so when there's a big shift in our lives and a big change coming up, whether it's moving houses, or whether it's, you know, there's lots of people my age are downsizing these days, going from a great big house and that they've lived in for 30 plus years and having to take a shovel to all of the stuff they've accumulated in the basement and move into something smaller and then get used to that. And then we seem to move into smaller and smaller as we age. And I think where the hardest thing to take in is when what we're losing, or who we're losing more specifically, is young. Because I find it at my age and stage of life, oh, there's still lots of things I want to do. I'm still extremely passionate about creating and contributing and doing things. But if today was my last day, I'd be pretty happy with what I've already done, because a lot of my dreams have come true and I've done a lot of the things that I wanted to do in my life, with my life. So, but I look at my sister and she's done a lot with her life. But at 49, there's a whole lot more life left in the normal sense of things. And so I, I feel kind of cheated on her behalf, you know, cheated that I don't have more time with her. And I feel sad for her that she doesn't have more time to do whatever it was. And yet, quite honestly, she has probably packed more into her 49 years than most people in their 89 years do. So she hasn't missed much. So do I have answers on how to deal with loss like this, and how to detach and make sense of it all? No, I don't really. I'm still stumbling and bumbling around. And maybe it's a little easier for me now because of my level of awareness of how things work and what I believe to be true and what I know. But I still struggle because as humans, we have these emotions that are here to help us experience life fully. And I want the beauty of the extreme emotions, such as love and ecstasy and joy and all those transcendent kind of emotions. But we're here in a world of contrast. So of course, if we want the heights, we need to be willing to plumb the depths. And that's harder. That's harder to say, well, if you're going to have this over here, then this is here too. And so what do? Do we go neutral and say, oh well, I'm just not going to feel anything? But then life doesn't have the same value as if we allowed ourselves to experience both sides of the coin in essence. So I I guess what I find myself leaning towards is other people, because in community we don't necessarily find all the answers, but we do find solace. We do find hope. We find others who have been there, done that, got the t-shirt, who have words of wisdom to impart, to remind us, because we do already know deep down, we just don't remember that we've figured it out. And so other people in our lives can lift us up. So that's where I turn to. Oh yes, I need and have my quiet moments. But for example, I was in a store the other day and buying some greeting cards, and because I was taking a little while, one of the attendants, who was probably similar to my age, comes over and she says, are you finding what you want? So we got talking about greeting cards and what I was trying to find, and she helped me. And then the conversation continued. And it was one of those kind of unlooked for intimate moments where I was sharing a little bit with her. I was telling her I was going to California, and course, she was naturally thinking, oh, you're going to have a lovely holiday. And I'm going, well, that's not really why I'm going. And so she was very empathetic about what was going on with me. And then in turn, it was like it gave her permission to share something that was heavy on her heart. And so we talked a little bit about each other's experiences and what we were facing, and just parted with this idea that we would hold each other up as best we could. Never met this woman before and probably will never see her again. But what a beautiful moment, a total stranger. So I'm blessed because I have lots of people that I know in my life who also can lift me up with a smile, with a joke, a good belly laugh, with offers of service and kindnesses that I don't even necessarily ask for, and they say, what do you need, or can I give you this, or would you like to come for supper, and all these kinds of things. Well, that helps lift me out of whatever darkness I'm facing in that moment, and it gives me some relief. And then as I'm working through stuff, gradually I can release some of the pain. So one of the understandings I have in relation to letting go of things, to be able to not have the strong emotions so much anymore, is to really allow myself to feel them. Like I go right into the feelings, and sometimes I talk to them and say, okay, what's this fear all about? So I had this fear that was unreasoning. I woke up with it one morning last week and I'm going, what's this all about? And some of it was in relation to the shifting and changing that's not only been going on all over the world. I mean, who knows how we're going to settle into something different. I sure don't. But also in my own personal life, that things are really, the boat's been really rocked, and I was fearful because I don't know what the outcome's going to be. I'm not able to see that far ahead. So I thought, wow, I need to do something to deal with this fear because I'm not willing to experience this the whole day. Well, I could have pushed it away. I could have found a distraction, but I didn't. I went right into it and just allowed myself to just let that fear wash over me, knowing that it would, just like the tide comes in and out, that it would dissipate. If I give it enough time, it would go. And so I just sat with it and allowed it to be there. And sure enough, it did dissipate. And then I was going through some CDs that my friend gave me that she didn't want to move with her. I found this great CD that's the whole CD is loops the chanting of the Dalai Lama. And this was a recording he did a number of years ago, and I'd lost my copy. And so here was this new copy. Well, it's like an hour. Well, I put that on into my DVD player and just let it play. And it just was so soothing because of the toning, and I don't even know what he's saying because there's words, but they're probably Tibetan and I don't understand them. Didn't matter. It was like a balm to my soul, and I felt better. So I think when we're in the thick of the biggest traumas and challenges and tragedies that we face from time to time, any little bit of relief that we can get just helps us get through, and to understand and know that whatever's going on is temporary, and it will shift and change, and you look back a year later and things are different, and it doesn't feel that comforting at the time, but it is, if we can just get through it, if we can just allow ourselves to let the feelings wash over us and then move the next step. And then when the wave comes again, we pause. So I found myself having little bouts of weeping this week where something would hit me. I saw this tree when I was on a walk, and most of it had died. There were all these lovely branches that at one time, this was quite a glorious tree, and there was only maybe 2 or 3 branches that had leaves on them. And I'm looking at the beauty of this, because the branches that had died were actually quite striking against the skyscape. And then of course the green beyond, and I'm going, that's like my sister, you know. There's been all this life, and that's going now. And it caught me, you know how it catches you right in the throat, and then the tears just well up, and it caught me. And so I stood with it for a few minutes and allowed this wave to come over me, so that then I could move forward from there. So that's for those of you who are dealing with these kinds of challenges these days, and I know there are lots that are, you just have my utmost admiration and compassion. You are magnificent enough to get through all of it, and you have magnificent support. Ask if you need support. Just be bold and say, I need a hug, or I just need to talk, or I need a diversion. I need a bowl of popcorn. I need a soft ice cream cone. Whatever it is that you need, then treat yourself with great compassion as you go through this, and as you look at other people as you go through your life, especially if you're feeling miserable. Be as kind as you can to everyone else, because you never know what they're dealing with. Everybody has something that is on their minds or in their hearts that's hard for them. So we're doing the best we can, each of us individually, and together I think we can all get through whatever we're going through. So have a glorious week. I will tune in next week, and in the meantime, remember, you are magnificent. If you're enjoying Tea with Sue, you can subscribe to the channel. You can also download my app, the Magnificence Mentor, which has lots more free content there for you. Take good care, my magnificent ones. I love you. Thank you for your prayers and support, those who have reached out to me. It means a great deal. Bye for now.